Hi, it's me, Brittany Ray, back from a 5-month hiatus. I can't believe it's been that long, and I just want to thank the 40 subscribers that I got off of my Update 5 video 5 months ago. I'm so sorry it's taking me this long to come back and get back into YouTubing. It wasn't something that I did much before, but it is something that I don't want to give up on just yet. So hopefully with more and more videos and just more consistency, community will grow and come from this. And right now we're going to be talking about all you need to know from the showcase we had this past week. Compiled so much information into one video, it might be a little bit long, but if you're like me and you like to sit down, play your game, listen to an audiobook or a podcast or a YouTube video, then this is for you, because we're going to be here together for a little while. So let's jump right into it. First is an overview of what we'll be getting into this video. We'll start with a review, the showcase, and then the predictions. Let's start with the review. Before the showcase, they released an update to early access that will be finally getting the full release December 5th. I love that early access went on for so long, and hopefully in the coming video I'll get to break down the price of this upcoming update, how much it's going to be to get both the base game and the expansion. You'll find out later on what happens if you are already a founder and if you want the gold edition. The early access update was something I know we were all anticipating. The free-to-play update is also something that was highly anticipated, and that's what a lot of people were waiting on, because they just decided, well, if it's going to be free anyways, why spend the money now? And I see that a lot of people aren't going to get that chance, so I sympathize with that. But before I played Dreamlight Valley and a lot of the PC games that I have now, even my Switch games, I strictly played games on my phone. And maybe I will compare and contrast phone games to PC games, just so you see what it's like when you buy a free phone game with a lot of similar features to what Dreamlight Valley has to offer, and what it will become now that you still have to purchase it. I personally really enjoy their decision to keep it as a, paid game. It's something that's going to lessen the financial hardship, I think, in the future, because it's rewarding long-term players. It's not just rewarding the people who pick up a game for fun or even just to cause a little bit of chaos. And I like that. I don't want my experience now to be tainted by those that have access to it and just want to troll someone. So maybe I'll review that in a later video. Let me know if you're interested. And then they announced the showcase, which we will also be getting into. So no surprises there. Let's move on. They gave us a little breakdown of our numbers as well, which I think I wasn't surprised by a lot of this. I think seeing the numbers of 3.3 billion, of course, we know majority of those are pumpkins. Peep the little pumpkin emoji. Items sold to Goofy. We all have thriving pumpkin farms. For me, my entire valley in one biome is just pumpkins. So he's getting pumpkins non-stop. I think it would be so cool if later on in an update we get a little insider joke of Goofy selling something, creating something, or even have a quest line of, I have way too many pumpkins on my hands, what can I do with them? And maybe we'll get more pumpkin themed items. What do you think? I love 0.3 billion. And then also was a little bit surprised to see that for most people, their villagers are the minor role. So I personally thought a lot more people would be a gardener, but everyone knows you can't have someone like Goofy, taller than you, being a gardener. He gets in the way, especially whenever you're trying to spam your button to get as many of those glowing vegetables. So I guess I'm not too surprised in the end. I personally do have a lot of villagers with the role of a miner, and I think at one point I just really liked being able to talk to a friend and be like, hey, let's go mine for a little bit. So maybe it is a little bit true that most people have that as their role. Of course, I don't know if I'm surprised or scared that 73 million Dreamlight duties have been completed. I think I wish that I was doing better with completing Dreamlight duties. I know I'm gonna need a lot more Dreamlight in the future, but it's because of all those Star Path duties. You have to do like 15 on 15 on 15 Dreamlight duties. It's crazy, and I don't enjoy that task, but it is beneficial in the end, and so I guess it's just something I have to live with. Having 28 million friendships leveled up just kind of goes to show how many people are playing this game, because we have probably 20-24 friends. If you're like me, you might have two games. I have one on PC and one on Switch, so you have maybe a million villagers or valley players out there. So it's so cool to see how big this community is and how much it's growing. I look forward to see it growing in the future, and all of those people who are waiting for it to be free to play, maybe, just maybe, are okay with having to spend the money for something that they'll be able to enjoy for at least a year. It's got so much content. And I'm also not surprised by having 8.3 billion Dreamlight spent, because as we know, the realm prices are just getting higher and higher and higher, and you're gonna need Dreamlight more and more in the future. So if you don't like doing the duties like I do, I guess we're gonna just have to get used to it, because we're gonna need a lot more. And then you can peep the little code in the bottom right for the DDVB pack. I kept misspelling it. I thought it was backpack or just pack, but I thankfully was able to claim it. So if you think these codes are worth it, redeem it while you still can. Now we're on to the showcase. First, we have new characters. Starting off with Jack Skellington in the Valley. This man has no bad angles. He looks perfect in every single angle. I love how the developers created his character, and I'm really excited to see what kind of questline he comes with. If you're one of those people just waiting and begging to have him in your valley, then here you go. You sought your reward, and you're gonna reap some of these benefits later on. I do think it's a little disappointing I didn't have him for Halloween, but his movie is Nightmare Before Christmas, so we get a little bit of that nightmare right before Christmas. So maybe it is perfect timing. Now we have Mike Wazowski, and he's not as photogenic as our Jack Skellington. I mean, who can be? But he is super fun, and you will see at the bottom that it is a work in progress, not representative of final quality, so maybe they'll take some of our feedback. I really like that he was a lot brighter in the Monsters University movie. I do believe he was kind of this dull in the original Monsters Inc. movie, so it seems up to par with how he was in the movies. Maybe they'll make his pupil just a little bit bigger so it doesn't look like he's shocked and terrified all the time. I also included an image of Sully because they did confirm that we're getting both Mike and Sully. I don't know if we'll be receiving Boo. Do you think we'll have her? I'm excited to see what their friendship quest lines and stories will entail. As we found out in Monsters University, that laughter and joy is much more powerful than fear and screams. So I think it's really fitting that they're coming just in time for spring to bring the joy. Then we have images of Gaston, Eve, Rapunzel, and Jafar. We know we will be receiving them in Eternity Isle. We'll have to convince Eve that we are friends, not foes. We'll have to help Rapunzel with an art class. And I guess you could say that you could save Gaston from a shipwreck. I personally will try everything in my power not to save him. He looks very roomy next to that tent. I think it's the perfect size to accommodate him, and maybe I can just hide him because I'm not the biggest fan of Gaston. And then we'll be communicating with Jafar. I say communicating because I'm not so sure we'll be befriending him. He seems like he's got some schemes. He's going to enlist us to help fix his problems and right his wrongs. I guess it's what I have to do as a ruler. Comes with the job. So I look forward to getting into Eternity Isle and exploring and going through the quests. I think I'm gonna make a point to read every single word on the screen. I think it was mentioned before that some people would love to hear like actual voice actors speaking the words, but for now we have to take our time and read, which is fine by me. I didn't save this as a prediction for the end, even though it is unconfirmed, but I would just like to say it's gotta be Daisy. I'm 99% sure. The 1% is reserved for me just instinctively thinking that it's Daisy. So either I'm right or my instincts are wrong, because a vibrant new villager moves to the valley and it has to be Daisy. I didn't realize how much I love Daisy until I didn't have her in my valley, and I really hope that Daisy is not the one stuck on front of Donald Duck's house. That would be a little bit morbid for me, but maybe I'll go up to Donald and ask him, hey, who is the character on your boat? Who is that person? Are they modeled after anyone? And maybe I'll start to remember his girlfriend. I know Daisy's gonna have a few strong words for him later on. On to what I believe is the most exciting news, because Mulan is my favorite Disney princess growing up. I loved having a strong female character that was brave, true to herself, and still found romance against all odds. I can't say that I relate to finding romance against all odds. I have been with my fiance since middle school. So yeah, we're middle school sweethearts. I don't know if that's cringe or not, but I am excited to get into the realm that doesn't come around every dynasty, just like Mulan is such a unique character. And since it's a realm, I hope we're not just getting Mulan, but Shang and Mushu. It hurts my heart to have to choose who I have to hang out with the most, but it's kind of fair game between all of them. I love them all. I think it's going to be so cool to have them in the valley and walking around, and I really hope that they include Mushu and they don't forget about him. He's got jokes up his sleeve. I'm not sure where he keeps his jokes, but he's got plenty of them, and his sarcasm. So him and I are kindred spirits. I hope to have him in my valley, as well as Mulan and Shang. Now, I know Princess Tiana is someone that we have been asking for from the very beginning, very similar to Jack Skellington. So I'm excited that they were able to confirm this, put her into the roadmap, and give us a little hint about what we should look forward to. So they hope that we have the beignets unlocked and are baking in preparation for her release. So if she's anything like Minnie Mouse, I think I'm gonna have to cook, I don't know, 200 beignets. I wonder how many beignets she's gonna have us make. Is she behind on orders because she hasn't been in the valley that long? I can believe it. And if you don't have the recipe for beignets yet, it is 1 canola oil, 1 wheat, 1 egg, and 1 cane sugar. So get to cooking in your kitchens, because you might need a lot of them for the future. So I'm going to be preparing as much as I can. And you know what? I'm not going to be upset with having a few extra beignets lying around. There is a free content roadmap. Feel free to screenshot it. I got this from the showcase. I know they have an image without the captions on the bottom, but if you don't have it yet, which I'm sure you do, this is it. A look ahead. Now we're on to new features coming with the update. Most anticipated, long-awaited multiplayer. We're going to enter the Valleyverse. It feels very Marvel. So I believe this is the teleporter that brings them to our valley. I can't wait to decorate a little welcome area. Welcome to my valley, friends. And then they get to explore from there. It'll be so exciting to see what people do as they get creative to invite their friends to their valley. I mean, what if it started off like a game show or a maze and you had to figure your way out of the maze to actually enter the valley? There's so many tricks and pranks you can pull on your friends as you welcome them into your valley, and this is a cute little item that will be unlocked to welcome them in. It seems like we'll only be able to have 3 other friends or 4 at a time. Another amazing feature about having friends in our valleys is that we'll be able to exchange items together. I've been paying attention to the words at the bottom, and so as they explain what this feature includes, they say, let's say you sit on a big pile of iron ingot, for example, in your world. You can give that to your friend and help them in their quest. You have also the ability to visit each other's Scrooge McDuck store. So if you don't like what you have in stock today in your own valley, feel free to go to your friends and see what they have in stock. I don't know exactly what this entails. There's a little bit of speculation about whether or not it'll just be items on the shelf, or if you'll actually be able to go to their Scrooge McDuck and see what he just has in stock in general. I know that I missed out on the Disney theme park Star Path on my PC. I have it on my Switch and it's so beautiful. It's the best way to decompress after a long day, and it's the only way I'll be able to visit a Disney theme park without thousands of people crowding around. And I'd love to have the same experience on my PC. So I hope I can go to my Switch's valley or my friend's valley and pick up a few attractions. But let me know which one you think it'll be, or most likely be. But even more exciting is the news that they spoke after this is that it's really the beginning of this multiplayer feature, and we have so much more stuff in mind also. We want to build on it and make it even bigger for the future. So maybe you can give them your suggestions and your feedback, and they'll implement some of your ideas in the upcoming updates after multiplayer is released. They also say that they're pushing with this upcoming update the biggest amount of fixes and improvements so far to make sure the game is as clean as possible for the release. Now, I went to the Trello boards to see what they're actively working on and improving, and I'm not experiencing any of the bugs that are listed on the Trello board. The other major bugs that I'm experiencing is just my PC freezing on certain load screens if I get stuck on a memory that I unlock, or when I get stuck handing someone their order in Remy's restaurant. I have to exit out of the game and reload, and it's super frustrating. So I hope that is one of the fixes and bugs that they improve on for this release. And let me know what you're experiencing down in the comments. I would like to see if it's also something I'm experiencing, and hopefully, cross our fingers, it's fixed December 5th. As I mentioned before, Gold Edition cosmetic rewards are open to those who have a Founders Pack of any tier, and later in another video, as I go through the price breakdown of what is going to be most worth it for you to gain access to the game and what gaming experiences that you are most interested in, whether it's storyline or the multiplayer feature, I'm going to break it down so that you can decide what is most beneficial and worth it for you. So look forward to that. And if you have any specific questions, please let me know. In the Gold Edition cosmetic rewards, we will receive the Flowery Summer Cottage Home Style Artist Overalls costumes and the Flowery Capybara Animal Companion. And that capybara is so cute, but it's not as cute as a capybara that I show later on in the video, so stay tuned for that, because you're going to see the cutest variation of a capybara that I've never seen in my life. I'm not an expert on capybaras. I don't know if it's just Disney magic or if it's actually real, because I wish capybaras were a regular pet at this point. They're so adorable. But stay tuned to see how cute they can be. Now we're on to the new storyline that comes with the Eternity Isle update. Long, long ago, in the waters beyond Dreamlight Valley, was an ancient kingdom called Eternity Isle, filled with boundless secrets and wonder, but one man's hunger for power broke it all and caused a rift in time, and the islands were lost. Until now. Discover an all-new world where only you can make things right, where fixing the past is as simple as turning an hourglass. Meet new friends to help guide your way, unlock dark secrets and treasures long forgotten. Eternity Isle awaits you. Now, don't judge my voice acting. I didn't want to include the trailer in this video, but I did want to read it out loud just so you know what the storyline is and to include it in this review. I can't wait to see how we go through the different parts of this story. I will say the dark secrets and hidden treasures is something that intrigues me, but later on in the showcase, they talked about learning about the experiments that were conducted. So that intrigues me a lot more. Like, what were they doing in this new world? What experiments were going on? Maybe it has something to do with the mechanics later on and the ancient machines that we will uncover. What are you most excited for? This is a little bit of a view of what the animation for the hourglass is, and I'm particularly interested in Jafar watching us through one of those portals that the Forgotten used, and the schemes that he has going on as we unlock secrets and go through a rift in time. In the middle is just a little preview of what happens whenever Eve finally trusts us and lets us gain access to the hourglass. Here is an overview of the expansion pass roadmap. I believe that they released recently an image of what it looks like whenever you place the free content roadmap side by side with the expansion pass roadmap. It seems like we get 2 updates if you have the expansion pass. At the same time, you'll have Eternity Isle and I believe that the winter 2024 update at the same time. And once you get through all of that, which I know is going to be a lot of content, you will have the next update in the free content roadmap to keep you busy until the next Eternity Isle update. So that's exciting. I have some speculations about characters that are to come in the later spring 2024 and summer 2024 updates, but those are in my predictions. Next, we are receiving new biomes. Here is an overview of the map. I love that they let us know when you combine all of the biomes together, it's very similar to the map that we have now in the Disney Dreamlight Valley. And I guess if you pay close attention, it seems pretty similar. I mean, we have at the top, it would be Jafar's castle, like our Dreamlight Castle. And instead of walking right down the middle, you have that big section that's separated in the middle where Plaza would be. To the right, you have the Forest of Valor would be, and on top of that would be the Frosted Heights. To the left, you would receive the Sunlit Plateau, and on top of that, Forgotten Lands. And as you move down, there's a staircase that would lead you into what we know as the Peaceful Meadow, and then that leads you either to the Glade of Trust on the left or the beach that wraps around on the right and down in the middle. So it's just as big with just as much content. So I'm excited to enter into these biomes and explore all of the new items that we have to unlock. So let's take a closer look. This is Ancient's Landing. We know that in the showcase, they showed what it's going to be like having the hourglass in our hand and how we can turn back time to fix broken bridges. And it looks like there's quite a few paths that go down to these 5 statues lined up at the bottom. So maybe we'll be able to walk across those, uncover more secrets and places as we rebuild and repair these bridges. The top left is the Glittering Dunes, which when you're in the valley, these directions will be flipped. This is just how I'm organizing it in this video. The Glittering Dunes is gonna have your desert biome. It's beautiful. I love that they also mentioned they're working on the verticality of this expansion. So you're gonna be able to go up and down certain paths, below in the caves, up above near waterfalls, and I'm excited to get in and explore. On the right, we have the Wild Tangle, which again, there's these vine paths that lead you up into certain parts of the map. And what's even more interesting is that they said that when Jafar split this place in time, Wild Tangle and Glittering Dunes are actually the same environments split by time. So I'm assuming the left is the past where Jafar's castle is intact and beautiful and shining, and on the right, as time has gone on, the Wild Tangle has overgrown and it's destroyed parts of the castle, but I don't know the science behind a desert turning into a jungle. If you know, I would love to know. Maybe I'll have to do a little bit of research on that, but this is Disney, and Disney magic trumps all real science. Now we're on to new resources that I compiled together, and it's not a complete list, but it's just a few screenshots to get you excited about new possibilities of crafting and exploring and decorating. First, we have all the flowers that I could find and screenshot. I didn't screenshot a lot in the Wild Tangle because it doesn't seem like we'll be getting a typical flower from the Wild Tangle. It'll be more succulent-esque. I think they had elephant ear plants in the Wild Tangle, so I didn't include those just because they weren't typically what I was used to seeing. We might be getting flowers there or not. But here is mainly the Ancient's Landing and Glittering Dunes. I love the Glittering Dune flowers particularly because they look very crystal-like, and I can't wait to decorate and craft with them. Let me know what you're most excited about, and if you would have liked to see the wild tangle more, because I do love succulents. That's like the main plant I can keep alive, obviously. But there's both cactus in the Glittering Dunes and the thriving plants that need a lot more moisture in the wild tangle. Now we're on to crops that you can plant and grow in your garden. There is bamboo on the left as you go across. There's the Venus flytrap. The blue plant was shown as a plant whenever the character was gardening. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's the cinnamon. Maybe a more magical plant will be growing, but it's beautiful and I can't wait to find out what it is. There's aloe vera. I think purple yams or red onions and beets. So there's like a combination of things it could be. I know that there's also like purple carrots, and I'm gonna say probably a purple yam, and I'm gonna go with a purple onion on the bottom left. And then we have cabbage shown and I think peppers, but these are just images of the resources. I'm not confirming what they are because I honestly don't know. They could change it at any minute. We'll also be getting cinnamon as they had listed in the showcase. Here are the bushes and trees. I think in the top left is maybe the fantasy fig they mentioned in the showcase. It's really cute and reminds me of Easter. I wonder if we'll be able to bring resources from here into the valley because I like keeping them all in one area. Of course, I decorate and make them look pretty, but I like to put them in one area so it's easier to gather. The bottom left, I believe, is almonds. In the middle, some people are speculating as dates. Top right are cacti. I don't know if you're going to get cactus juice from it or maybe flowers. I'm unsure. Bottom right is strawberries. These are two of the obstacles I guess we'll have to break through and upgrade some of our own royal tools to break through, or the hourglass will also be able to break through these, but if it's anything like the other tools, we'll still have to upgrade it through the quest lines. The top is swirling sands and the bottom is splinter of fate. I wonder what resources we'll gain from these because it looks like there are like these shiny golden rocks that we may get gold from, or maybe sandstone, and the splinters of fate look like they could be a new gem. There's so much to speculate, and it's just going to be a lot nicer when we finally reach December 5th and can have access to these biomes. Next is new critters. I didn't screenshot all of the different variations, but they're exciting nonetheless to see in one picture altogether. Here we have the capybara, the snake, and the monkey. We know that there's like a blue and a gray monkey, and the snake comes in this black and red and pink and blue, and the capybara, if you don't know, has this beautiful and cutest variation. It's gray and white. It's colored like either a cow or a pig. I don't know. It's so adorable, and I'm so excited because as soon as I enter into Ancient's Landing, or I believe Wild Tangle, that is going to be my companion forever. So cute. And the snake companion has the cutest pose. I don't know. It's really endearing. I'm not a big fan of snakes, even though my teachers had snakes in like the classroom. So like I'm used to picking them up and kind of holding them. I think that's one of the cutest poses that you could even have with the snake. And if I ever got the snake, it would probably be the pink one. Seems less intimidating. So let me know which critter or companion you're most excited about having. Next is the new mechanics and gameplay. So we know in the top left that Jafar we're going to be communicating with through a hologram. So I just assume that would just be part of the gameplay and how you interact with him. We've never seen these before, so that's an interesting addition to Eternity Isle. Bottom left is this new ancient machine that is automated to water your crops. In the top left of that image, it looks like we'll be able to level this up and gain multiple sides to it so that we can water more plants. In the original image, it just shows the one watering a 5x5 plot of crops, even though not every plot is planted. So I don't know if that's going to be true whenever we receive them, but it seems like you'll be able to level them up. On the right side, you get an animation of the hourglass, which is part of the gameplay and new mechanics with the new royal tool. In the bottom, we see an auto cooker, which is already at level 3, so we know we'll have to level these up. And then as we cook them, it doesn't seem like it's just fully automated once you craft or make the cooker. You have to give it something. And this something seems expensive. I don't know if that's a diamond or a new gem that we get from Eternity Isle. I would hope that the auto cookers aren't just exclusive to Eternity Isle, just because as you get to a certain point in the game, you want to be able to mass produce your food so that you have energy to just explore your island with the like flying feature. So as you climb this auto cooker from 1 batch to 2 batches to 3 batches, that number goes to 25 to 50 to 75. So it's going to be expensive. But I don't know how long it lasts. It could last for an hour, 4 hours. Maybe it's by quantity instead of hour. So there's a lot to learn whenever the update comes out. Lastly, part of the gameplay is this new game we'll be able to play with our valley villagers. I don't know if it's something that we'll also be able to play with our friends who visit the valley. They did say that this is just the beginning of multiplayer for them, so you might be able to in the future, but it's definitely not going to be a new money-making venture because you seem like you'll only gain a couple of coins at a time. And what happens if the villager wins? Do they gain coins? Are they going to be able to buy things from us? That would be really cool because I think Scrooge McDuck needs a little bit of competition in the area. You know, competition breeds promotions. Promotions means lower prices. Lower prices mean that I can buy more and pay less. So let me know what your thoughts are about this game. I know I'm going to give it a try just because I do like board games, and it could just be something, again, to decompress with at the end of a day, just to go in and be like, you know what? Me and Wally really are going to have to duke it out on the board games, or I'm really getting into a fight with Mother Gothel and I would just really love winning this game against her. So, what's your motivation for playing this game? Now we have new recipes. I'm about to butcher all of the names. We're receiving arepas, poutine, latkes, and burani? Or latkes? We'll see. These are the new recipes that we'll be receiving. They're not something I eat on a daily basis, but it will be interesting to see which characters in my valley are going to order this in Remy's restaurant. And someone's going to have to get on the ingredients quick because I need to know the recipe's stat. I'm not the one to figure it out, but I am the one to thank the person who does. Now we have new clothes and decor. I tried to compile as much as possible. I feel like they had shown a lot more than what I've put together, but still, this is the best in-depth review that I could give. We're receiving the Blue Castle, probably in the premium shop during the Winter Star Path, which is sad. I don't think it would be included in the Star Path. We haven't been receiving any homes through the Star Path. That would be interesting if they did, just because of how much people really loved that castle. And I wonder if the Star Path and these houses was part of the original plan for Star Path, because I know a lot of people were giving feedback before they started giving out home skins. So I know that we've played a big role in how these features have been added and customized to what the community wants. So it'd be interesting to see what happens and how we get this item. I'm gonna assume 3,000 moonstones in the premium shop. Bottom left, we get an ice skating rink, which I do think could be part of the Star Path, but again, it's a really big furniture item, so it could come with the premium shop as well. On the right, that's part of the Star Path. That's how we get the cosmetics for characters, mostly. Not all the time, but mostly. And that's what they had mentioned as part of the Star Path, and that is just a beautiful dress for Belle. She was also one of my favorite Disney princesses, and that was by far my favorite dress that she wore in the movie. Then we learned, as part of Rapunzel's friendship storyline level 10 reward, we will be receiving this dress and suit combo. And I look forward to seeing how people model it and put it in their dream snaps. Which are you looking forward to most? Here I have pictured different markets and booths set up that I don't know if we'll unlock them, buy them from Scrooge, or craft them. There seem to be some woven baskets in the background. I'm really liking how it feels like it's part of Aladdin's story, since this kind of feels like it's leading up to having the Aladdin characters in our game. They're also working again on the verticality of the game. So we're getting a lot more of these vertical structures that are tall, take up more space, which is how I like to decorate my valley. I can't wait to enter Ancient's Landing and make it the original port town that it was meant to be, and have all of these booths set up for a market. And here comes the only reason that I am giving Gaston anything. The only reason I'm hanging out with him. I think I mentioned before that I'm not hanging out with him and I'm not leveling him up. If the only reason I am leveling him up, and it's not going to be by giving him flowers, and it's not going to be by hanging out with him. The only way I'm leveling him up is if I give him gray sludge. I'm giving him the disgusting meal that we can cook. He doesn't deserve any better. And you may wonder, why does she hate Gaston so much? And hate's a strong word. I don't hate the guy. I just don't like him. I have the image of his big foot and his big toe seared into my brain from the cartoon, and I was like, the disrespect. So I don't want to see him in my valley or his feet. But I love archery. And the reason I love archery is that my mom gathered her 3 children together, and she was like, guys, I need someone to join a sports team because I want to go to your sports meetings. I want to go and watch you play a sport. She wanted to be that parent. Of course, she wasn't going to be forcing us to do something, but I was like, okay, mom, I got you. So I joined the archery team in high school because it was the only thing that didn't seem like it was going to cause me such major injury. And I know you might be wondering, how is archery not a high risk? Well, you're not shooting someone, you're shooting at a target, and they have a lot of guidelines and rules. But when it comes to dodgeball, you waive your right to not being prone to injury. You are more injury prone when it comes to football, baseball, dodgeball, any game that I ever played as a kid growing up and in gym class. It was thrown at me and it injured me. I was traumatized and I wasn't about to do that, but it did want to help my mom out, and I played archery. So that's the only reason I'm getting this, and it'll be from Gaston. That's the only reason why I'm giving him anything. On the bottom left, moving on, is a bench. In the middle is a gray bench. On the top middle is a new stone path, which I really like, that we can see the variations of the ground underneath it, different colors. On the bottom middle, we're seeing more of that vertical feature included, and vertical crates. I hope that we don't just have to craft 4 vertical crates, but the 20 crates that I have already crafted, thinking that I could stack them, finding out that I couldn't, will actually be able to be stackable, and I can make the corn maze of my dreams come to life, because I wanted to create walls and have a cute corn maze. So that is something that I look forward to, and I hope is implemented. On the right, you will see Eve's kind of botanical flower what am I thinking of, shelves. They're really beautiful, and that's what I decorate with in my valley, is a lot of like flowers and flora. So that will definitely be seen around my valley a lot. And I forgot to include Eve's house, but if you haven't seen Eve's house, just Google it. Disney Dreamlight Valley, Eve's house. It's very pretty, and I know we all assumed that she would come in on a spaceship, which she didn't come to our valley on a spaceship, but she is living in one, so it still works out. Then we're getting a new lamp on the left, a blue kind of stall tent, and then on the right, I'm speculating it's probably a craft table. The original screenshot that had this included in it was with our character holding an hourglass royal tool. So I'm like, are there 2 of the hourglass royal tools, or is this a crafting table that will allow us to craft same items, different items? I'm just speculating, but what do you think it is? Maybe it's just one of those hidden secret places they were talking about. I had to cover up Gaston. Sorry. My distaste for him runs deep. What I have included here is an orange house behind Gaston that I don't think is his house because it has awnings on either side, the chimney is different, and the windows are different. So I'm not sure what it is. It looks very similar to the purple cottage that we received, and it's beautiful. I love it. I hope that it's something that we can have in the premium shop. If not, if this is Gaston's house and we like fix up his house, I'll be like really upset. This man is gonna have to do something really redeemable for me to fix his house up to be that pretty. Because I love his house, and if that's his house, it's gonna be heartbreaking to have to hide it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. What is it? His house? Maybe a different person's house? Whenever we look into character predictions later on. Oh, and jumping right into predictions. Now they get a little deep, they're a little bit wonky, but if you watched my update 5 video 5 months ago, you will see that I like to go deep with my predictions. I go down the rabbit hole. I find things that I have never seen before. I educate you. I give you my proof. So if you're ready for proof for a little bit of crazy predictions, then stick around because it's about to go down the rabbit hole. First is not a crazy prediction. We saw this in the showcase, and we saw that we are receiving Lumiere, Cogsworth, and Flynn Rider. And I watch Mr. Star and Sky, and I don't know if I have mentioned it before, but he is an amazing creator, and I love watching his videos. But whenever I first came across his videos months and months ago, I thought his name was Mr. Starlinski. Like, you know, the I is capitalized, so it looks like an L, so it literally looks like Starlinski. And I don't know. I was just like, well, that's Mr. Starlinski. I mean, maybe it's his last name. I don't know. So now I can't unsee it. I can't unthink it. I've come to know him as Mr. Starlinski, so I'm sorry if I ruined it for you. I'm sorry if you can never look at it the same again. Maybe you thought the same thing and we found each other on YouTube and we can become best friends who both watch Mr. Starlinski / Mr. Star and Sky. But while I was watching his review of the showcase before, he had mentioned that Flynn Rider, he first thought it was Eric because he was like, what is up with his nose? That looks like Eric, but his nose looks different. And I thought it was so fitting for Flynn Rider's character because Flynn Rider, throughout the Rapunzel movie, is just like, they can never get my nose right. And it was a happy accident that turned out to be very humorous. And so thank you, Mr. Star and Sky, for always giving me a good laugh at the end of the day. We're getting Flynn Rider, and I'm excited to have all these characters in my valley. Who knows? Maybe the orange house is one of these characters' houses. What do you think? Now we move on to Miss Tilly, which is not a person, by the way. Miss Tilly is the name of the boat that we saw in the Rift in Time cover art, and it all makes us wonder. If it's in the cover art, then is it significant? Should I know what this is? It is a shrimp boat that had wound up on Mount Mayday. Now let me read a little bit more about Mount Mayday and Miss Tilly. Mount Mayday is a dormant volcano which was located at the Pacific Island lagoon of Placid Palms during a massive hurricane originally said to have occurred in 1955. Placid Palms was twisted and damaged into being a sort of tropical oasis, which would become known as Typhoon Lagoon. Following the hurricane, the mountain became the perch of the Miss Tilly, a shrimp boat that was caught in the Great Storm. Isn't that interesting? From 1955. In a rift in time where the past and the present are meeting in this chaotic mess. So, what does Miss Tilly have to do with the storyline? Well, if you look at the Miss Tilly and Mount Mayday, you learn that Mount Mayday appears in a photograph on a postcard in Trader Sam's. The card is addressed to Trader Sam from the crew of the Miss Tilly, apparently marooned in Typhoon Lagoon, with Sam apparently being acquainted with the crew. So, are we getting a Trader Sam? Do any of you know of a Trader Sam? Here, this is Trader Sam. Trader Sam's enchanted tiki bar in the middle. On the left is the female version of Trader Sam from Jungle Cruise. I believe her name was Veronica, I forget her last name. And on the right is a statue of Trader Sam. Trader Sam is very well connected in the, I guess, Disneyverse. He apparently seems to be ageless as he travels through time, like, I don't know, a rift in time. But let's look at Trader Sam's connections. Trader Sam is connected to Captain Jack Sparrow and Genie, who I believe are probably the more likely characters that we will receive. But he's also connected to Jane, Carl, and Ellie. Those are less likely to join our valley, but interesting enough, because if we got Trader Sam in our valley, then it would just open up a whole new list of possibilities of characters we might get in Eternity Isle or Dreamlight Valley. So here's a little bit of information of how he's connected to each character, starting with Captain Jack Sparrow. Sam's pub was frequented by the mother of pirate Captain Jack Sparrow, both of whom he befriended. Sam and Sparrow had even spent time together on an isle when Jack convinced the people of that isle that he was their chief. And Jack left Sam, I won't say what, but he left him something that Sam would keep, and in honor of what he gave him, he would bring to every new bar location he established. So they're very well connected. And if we ever got Trader Sam, or if Miss Tilly led to a new villager, I would be so excited for it to be Captain Jack Sparrow. He is one of those characters like Jack Skellington and Tiana that people were anticipating from day one, and it would be so nice to welcome him into our valley. Now on to Genie. By the 1950s, other pieces of decor included within the bar were a lamp which once belonged to a powerful Arabian genie of Agrabah. So, Trader Sam has Genie's lamp, and Trader Sam knew the crew from Miss Tilly, and Miss Tilly wound up on Mount Mayday, which is included in Trader Sam's Tiki Bar. Is the lamp also included somewhere near Miss Tilly? If so, is this how we receive Genie into our valley? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Now on to Jane. Sam was also familiar with Professor Archimedes, with Professor Archimedes Porter and his daughter Jane, obtaining or having taken a photograph of them during the beginning of their expedition to the Congo. Now I'm sorry, I butchered the Professor Porter's name. But Trader Sam seems to have been acquainted with Jane. So do we get Jane later on? I sure hope so. And this image of Jane is just her character in Kingdom Hearts. Now on to Carl and Ellie. Between the 1950s and the 1960s, Sam also seemingly became acquainted with the Fredricksons, Carl and Ellie, whom he took the habit of collecting coins to travel to Paradise Falls. So it'd be really interesting if we got Carl and Ellie into the game, mainly because we do already have some merchandise and furniture from the first Star Path. So these are just some of his connections that I found most interesting. He is much more connected with many more characters. These were kind of the ones most interesting, Captain Jack Sparrow and Genie being most likely, but this leads me to my very bold and very confident decision to say we might be getting Captain Jack Sparrow at the Spring 2024 Eternity Isles release. Don't quote me on it, and don't buy it just because you think you're getting Captain Jack Sparrow, but it says explore Ancient's Landing to uncover more of its secrets and befriend a very lucky villager. And when you ask Google, is Captain Jack Sparrow lucky, it says a lot of the time Jack Sparrow was the king of brilliant plans, but other times he only escaped a situation because of pure luck. Yep, that sounds like my captain. So if we get to introduce and befriend a lucky villager, I would say Captain Jack Sparrow is the luckiest. But I go on to also show maybe more sane predictions of who could be joining the valley. So let's take a look of those. Remember, Spring 2024 is the spark of imagination. And so the other predictions are Oswald, a lucky rabbit, and Figment, whose whole movie and character is surrounded by imagination and that spark. So these aren't characters that I have watched growing up, nor did I know about Figment much before. Don't be upset at me. This just goes to show how amazing the Dreamlight community is, that we all have characters that we're interested in and love and know about. And so we get to be introduced to them by playing this game. So it gives a more personal connection, in my opinion, because I'm interacting with characters that I wouldn't typically interact with in a new and exciting way that I can come to enjoy and appreciate. And so I won't be upset if we receive both or either of these characters, because it will be tied into the story and I'll get to know them in a different way than how others got to originally get to know them. And so that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe it wasn't as long as I thought. I feel like I sped through that. But side note, I did record this 3 or 4 times because the first one, way too long. I had to reorganize all my sides. The second one, I didn't make sure my mic was connected, and I'm so sad. It's really disappointing. But now I've connected my mic, I've recorded this video, and I hope that you're able to enjoy it. And I also hope that you are thriving, not just surviving this week. And have a wonderful day, and join me in the upcoming videos where I talk about pricing, we talk about more updates and predictions. I go through another valley tour because it's changed up a lot from my first one. And I also explain how I decorate and even use the Touch of Magic tool. Thank you so much. If you've enjoyed this video and want to see it grow, if you want to be part of this community just because you like how I explain certain information and gather my information and my crazy wild predictions, consider subscribing or liking the video. Thank you so much. Bye.